Hi, everyone. So glad everyone could make it tonight. We're really excited for our meeting today. As you can see, we have our guest speaker, Milan Mobley, here. And first, I'm going to just remind everyone that we are recording today's meeting. So just so that way, if anyone couldn't make it tonight, they'll be able to watch the recording later. So I'm going to pass it over to our advisor, Dr. Weed. She has a little announcement, and then we'll introduce our guest speaker and get going.
Terrific. Thank you so much, Jamie. I'm going to share my screen to discuss for just a few minutes about a special class that we're going to be offering in the next school year that's going to be participating in the Bateman case study competition. So the Bateman case study competition, like I said, it is a competition sponsored by PRSSA National, and it is for all of the chapters across the US and 8 other countries as well. This is going to be a 2-class series that's going to be offered next year. It'll be fall 21 and spring 2022. This is going to be an opportunity that is exclusive to our PR majors at Kennesaw State University. So just some background information on the Bateman case study competition. It is a nationwide event sponsored by PRSSA, and more than 80 student teams compete in this competition across the US each year. It is something that is very well known within the PR industry, especially among PRSA members. In fact, once you're ready to start looking for internships or your first job in the field, don't be surprised if the person you're interviewing with, they actually participated in the Bateman competition because it is so well known and so widespread. So part of the Bateman competition is to actually create a local campaign for a national client. And all of the teams will be working with the same client for the competition. What the individual teams do is create a campaign within their local community. The other part to the competition is you will actually write up a post-campaign case study that is going to be submitted to a panel of national judges. So some of our previous clients for the Bateman competition have been the U.S. Census Bureau, the Campaign to Change Direction, Student Veterans of America, Home Matters, and With Purpose. And this will be my second university that I've advised Bateman teams for. So With Purpose was the campaign that I previously advised a Bateman team at Ashland University. Some additional class information. This is going to be a very limited size class. Only 12 students are going to be accepted to participate in the Bateman competition. This will be broken out over 2 semesters. So first semester will be in fall. That's going to be our Bateman research class. This is a 3 credit hour class. It's going to count as an elective for your PR major. And this one has already been scheduled. So it's going to be a hybrid class that meets on Thursdays, 3:30 to 4:45 p.m. Our second class is the Bateman campaign. So this is where you're actually going to be implementing the campaign and then writing your case study that'll be submitted to the competition. It's also 3 credit hours, and it counts towards your capstone PR capstone class. So in total, you can get 6 credit hours towards your major to complete these classes. We haven't scheduled out the time for the spring 22 class just because we haven't gotten into scheduling that far, but there will be enough time for student teams to meet in class to work on the campaign. What will you learn in the Bateman campaign? I know this is something that you all always want to know about when it comes to the classes. What am I actually going to learn? So this is a full-blown campaigns class beginning to end. So you're going to be learning how to conduct PR research that's commonly used in the industry. You're going to take that research, analyze the data, gain key insights, and then develop a tailored public relations proposal. You're going to write a creative brief, which is one part research presentation, research report, and one part campaign proposal. This is going to be your guidebook throughout the campaign process. You're going to execute your PR campaign in a 4-week timeline in spring semester. You're going to be evaluating the campaign throughout the process to determine if the strategies and tactics of your campaign are meeting the goals and objectives, which is always the endpoint for essentially determining whether your agency, your department gets paid for its work. Did the campaign meet the objectives? Last, you'll write a post-campaign case study, which will be submitted to the competition. And then you'll present that case study to an audience of PR professionals in the Atlanta area. So if you're interested in applying for the Bateman competition, especially if you're a PRSSA major and you're going to be at Kennesaw State all of next year, I highly recommend you do this. Look for an email coming through to your kennesaw.edu email that'll have more information, or you can contact me directly to get the application link. The application deadline is going to be on March 5th, and that's because we want to be able to let our applicants know whether they were accepted into the class before fall class registration starts. Student requirements, I think just about all of you would meet this unless you're graduating. You need to be a PR major. You need to graduate in May 2022 or after. You need to enroll in both PR 4415, which is the Bateman Research class in fall, and PR 4465, which is the campaign class, which will be offered in spring. And you need to be a PRSSA member by October of this year. Class prerequisites, we do have a few. So before the fall class starts, you need to have completed public relations principles. And then before the spring class starts, you need to have taken public relations writing and communication research methods. So if you have any questions, or if you want to know how participating in this campaign is going to help you get a job in PR, drop me an email. It's awe2@kennesaw.edu. Thanks so much, Jamie.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Weed, for letting us know about that. Like I was saying in the chat, I wish I wasn't graduating so I could do it, but that's okay. Anyway, so now we're gonna get into our meeting. I'm gonna go ahead and introduce our guest speaker today. So we have Milan Mobley here with us. She is an entrepreneur, publicist, author, and public speaker from Washington, D.C. She is the CEO of UMGMT Public Relations Agency and founder and creator of the Entrepreneurs Brunch, and also the host of the popular Your Bossy's Friend podcast. She, she was a graduate of Bowie State University, where she obtained her Bachelor's of Science degree in Public Relations. And she's also a graduate of the George Washington University, where she obtained her Master's of Professional Studies degree in Strategic Public Relations as well. Wow, very, very great. Milan also holds her Entrepreneurship Essentials certification from the Harvard University Business School online. So welcome, Ms. Mobley, to our meeting. We're so excited to have you. And the floor is yours.
Thank you, guys. I'm so excited to be here. Kiana, thank you for presenting the opportunities to me. I know when she presented it, it was like, okay, February, what does February look like, right, to a publicist? In the public relations industry, your days are never the same and life is so unpredictable. So she came at the right time, because most of the time, outside of the pandemic, February we would have already been accounted for due to the Grammys, All-Star Weekend, and a plethora of other events that can take place. So luckily we are in a pandemic, because if not, I wouldn't be able to be here with you ladies. So I hope you're super excited tonight. One thing I will say, my presentation style is definitely interactive. I like to have fun. I like to engage, just so we are on one accord. So is that all right with everybody? You can just give me a thumbs up because I can see you. Okay, perfect. So our topic, I'm going to start sharing my screen, is personal branding. So I want to know what you ladies, and I don't have any gentlemen, correct, in the course, Jamie?
Yeah, we have one.
One?
Henry.
Okay.
Yes.
Is he here right now? Henry?
Yes.
Hi.
Oh, hey,
Yeah,
Henry.
sorry. I
Hey,
had
Henry.
to open it over my camera.
Okay, perfect. So my ladies and my one gentleman, perfect. All right. So I just want to make sure I address everyone accordingly. So with the conversation, I want to know, what do you already know about personal branding? And anyone can answer that question.
I guess it would be like how you present yourself to the public, and it could include things like your social media presence, what your resume looks like, and just any other aspect that you bring to maybe a job or just anyone you meet in public.
Perfect, Jamie. That's awesome. Okay, next question. Why is personal branding important in public relations?
I feel like it gives you credibility if you have an online presence and people can clearly see who you are, or if you have an effective brand.
Okay, awesome. That's actually one of the answers. The second part of that answer is the most important part, and you may or may not be surprised. If you have a negative image in the public, how can someone trust you handling their public relations? Right? So think about our role in the public relations world and public relations industry, why people hire us, why they come to us. We're not only storytellers, we solve crisis management, we manage reputations, we maintain and build relationships. So if you have a negative image and you're not seen in the best light to a lot of people, then how can someone trust you to build relationships on their behalf, right? Okay, perfect. Now, before we get into the presentation, I want to dive a little bit deeper into knowing each of you. So tell me, why do you want to be in public relations, and what aspect do you want to be in the industry? Because there's so many different components. You can be in public affairs, you can be in corporate under a communications director, a public relations manager, or you could be in the entertainment industry, or you could be in TV and production. See your hand.
Hi there, my name's Abby Heyman. I'm so glad that you're speaking for class today, for PRSSA today. And I'm a public relations major, and I'm interested in working in the entertainment and media industry, specifically in film and television, and also just with the entertainers in general. So I'm really looking forward to hearing more about what you do and how versatile the industry is in more detail. That'd be really cool.
Absolutely. The entertainment industry is super fun. I'm in the entertainment industry. I cover entertainment, lifestyle, and corporate.
I love that. Yeah, I definitely would be interested in something like that. So I'm excited.
Awesome. Perfect. Anyone else want to share?
I don't know. I think my like goal would be like a larger kind of consumer brand kind of corporation. I don't know exactly. I've never been good at narrowing down exactly where I want to end up, but I think like corporate is more what I'd be leaning towards in the future.
Okay, perfect. Corporate is always great. Corporate is a guaranteed check. Now, Abby, I will tell you that in entertainment, it's not so guaranteed as much as corporate is in public affairs, but it is very fulfilling. Henry, I'm going to call on you because you're the only guy, so you have to give me something. I'm sorry. I want to pick on you, but I got to call on you.
I'll try.
All right, awesome. Okay, guys, let's get started. So you're the brand. So we're going to talk about how to create effective and relevant content online, but we're also going to talk about how to build your brand from the inside out. So what does the inside out mean? Literally meaning from online to offline, because once you're offline, you have to be mindful that there's always eyes on you. And I think people sometimes forget that. Currently, and I'm going to share a story while we go through the presentation. We have a client that's coming on in about a few weeks, and he's on a very popular show right now, and his image is completely tarnished due to the television show. So we say, don't get on social media, don't do this. We look on social media, and he's arguing with people under the comments. So mind you, he's not back with us. He's a former client, but he's not back again as a current client. So now we have a bigger problem, because now we have to fix that. We already have a ton of other things to fix, but now we have to fix this issue. So that happens. He goes on a trip. He's on the trip. Fans see him, they take pictures, they give it to the blogs. Now we have an even bigger problem, because one, you've been spotted in public offline. So we're going to talk about how important that is to maintain that image on and off the computer. Before we get started, I want you to go to my social media page. My Instagram is DTHEE My first name, Milan, Milan, and my last name, Mobley, Mobley. Go to my Instagram page. You don't have to follow me, but we're going to do an icebreaker. And I want you to tell me, what do you perceive about my personal brand just by looking at it? Erase everything that you know about me. Erase George Washington, erase Harvard, erase Bowie State University, erase me even being a CEO of my own company. Erase all of those perceptions out of your mind and look just strictly at my social media and tell me exactly what you perceive. And you can put it in the chat or you can speak out loud.
I would say confidence. You sort of seem pretty confident throughout your feed. So that would be one thing.
Okay, confidence. I like that.
Well, like all your pictures are super pretty, and I love that. Like how like glamorous and fun like they are, and also how you're killing it with like your cool clothes and like in front of the computer, like ready to work. Like it's just really cool. Like I like the colors, and just from looking at it, you seem like a really confident person, which is really cool.
Okay, awesome. Thank you.
You seem approachable yet professional. Like you have a really awesome balance right there, and I like that.
Awesome. Kiana said color scheme. Okay, perfect. So those are all great analyzations because it's all of the things that I do go for. Now, based off of the perception that you have identified, would you hire me as your publicist? Yes or no?
Yes.
Yes. You say yes. Okay. Abby says yes. Dorothy says definitely a great balance. Dorothy says yes. Okay, perfect. So you all will hire me. Awesome. So now I'm your publicist. So let's get started. It's kind of like a lawyer where you have to give them $1 to be on retainer. You just had to tell me what you perceived about me before I became your publicist. All right. So things to discuss today. Key takeaways from today that I want all of you to take. Steps to build your personal brand, building a strong brand identity, personal brand strategy, marketing, 5 essential resources to a strong brand, perspective content, and build your brand on social media. Okay. All right, so we're going to talk about steps to building your personal brand. You first have to figure out who you are. So when you're building your personal brand, I know a lot of you probably, like you said, it's put together, right? It's a balance there. If you look at other people's social medias, or if you talk to someone in person and they're kind of everywhere, they don't know who they are. If they say they want to do one thing and then you say something, they're like, oh, well, yeah, I actually was thinking about getting into that also. It's everywhere. You go to their social media page, 9 times out of 10, you'll probably see them playing music, or they may be painting, or they may be building a car, and you're like, I'm not too sure what you do. You never want that to happen in your personal brand. You never want anyone to be confused on what you do, because if they're confused on what you do, then you're not going to be able to get hired, as Jamie said, want to work in corporate America, or you're not going to be able to pick up your client entertainment, like Abby said. You have to be very focused. You have to be very clear on what you do. As a publicist, keep this in mind. Our job is to create strategies to make things clear for other people. So how can we not know who we are in our own brands and then trust someone to hire us? So be clear on who you are. You want to build a personal brand that accurately affects your personal and professional identity. So you all said I have balance. That's great. I love to cook. If you look on my page, you can see that. I'm a business coach also, right along as a publicist, but you can see that. I separate my posting. I take pictures according to what needs to be taken care of and what needs to be posted. And as you can see, a lot of my photos are of me, right? It's not different flyers. It's not, I think, Kiana, you said the color scheme. It's not U Management's color scheme, because right now, when you're looking at the presentation, you see the black, yellow, and white. That's U Management. My personal brand is the rose gold. I'm the publicist, right? Public relations is the action that I do. U Management is the company that I own. U Management is its own entity. I just so happen to be an employee of U Management, right? I get paid from U Management. So that's why it's 2 different colors, but you can clearly separate them. Kiana currently is an intern of mine for the Entrepreneurs Brunch. That's a whole separate brand, and that's Tiffany Blue and Gold. But you don't see that color on the page, but I guarantee if you click on the post, you'll see about it and learn about it and have access to it. But it's not confusing. It's very clear. Okay. Next, you want to determine what you want to be known for. And I don't want you ladies and my one gentleman to think of being known for right in 2021, right? We have to think long term. when I'm talking to my business coaching clients, and I'm talking to our PR clients, whomever it may be, I always say you have to focus on longevity. So you have to understand your strengths and your weaknesses. My biggest strength, and it may sound crazy enough, being in the industry for 10 years and having my own agency for 6, I literally just figured out this year that my strength is literally connecting the dots across the board. In any way you look at it, if it's a story, whether it's you starting your business or whether you need empowerment and a resource, I'm the one that connects the dots. So that's my strength, connecting the dots. So in that, I now know that I have to be a resource in all aspects. So when I'm producing social media content, when I'm engaging with someone in a conversation, I have to make it known that I'm the dot connector. I connect 4, right? To say the least. That's my job. Okay. Research your desired industry, define your audience, and follow the experts. What does that mean? So researching your industry and defining your audience. One, you have to know exactly who you want to talk to. The people that I talked to when I was in college are not the people that I talk to now, right? In undergrad, I was SJ president. Now I serve as 6-figure to 7-figure business owners. Those are 2 different type of people. Those are 2 different type of conversations. Your college conversations and your career adult, almost 30 conversations are very different than when I was 20, 21 running an institution. So you have to define that audience. Your content is going to change. Your conversation is going to change. Your messaging is going to change. So you have to know who that is as soon as you leave these doors of college, of course. Research your desired industry. Abby says she wants to go into entertainment. I just told Abby, in entertainment, the pay is not always guaranteed. In entertainment, you're going to get a lot of celebrities, influencers, whomever, that may say, hey, Abby, I love what you do. You're great at it. However, do you mind doing it pro bono for advertisement, for marketing, for promo? People are asking you to work for free all the time. Or you'll have that one client that says, I actually have 5 publicists, so you're going to be like the secondary publicist. Is it okay if you get paid $700? It's not okay, actually, for all that we do. I'm just going to let you know that now, Abby, that is not okay, okay? So don't ever let that be okay. But needless to say, you have to understand the industry. You have to understand the audience that you're speaking to and following experts. You never know where you're missing or where you can contribute if you don't follow others in your industry or other experts in the communications field. You have to understand, we're all having different conversations. Someone may see something that I didn't see. But if I'm not following them, then I don't know. And on top of following them, if I'm not connecting with them, the biggest thing in public relations is relationships. I have a lot of relationship publicists in our industry, and we've done Clubhouse together. They've invited me to partner on some of their projects. They've sent clients to me. They send events to me. If I can't get into, let's say, the Grammys, or my client can't get on the red carpet, and somebody that's a publicist and their client is, or so on and so forth, you have that connection. So you want to follow experts. You want to build those relationships for that personal reason. So these are the top 3 things in building your personal brand in the public relations industry. Okay. And if you have questions, guys, please feel free to drop them in our chat. And if I'm going too fast, just say, Milan, slow down, please. I think I lost the chat. Hold on, guys. I'm trying to pull it up. I don't know where it went. Okay, well, I think I lost the chat. So maybe just raise your hand and I'll try to look for you, because I have no idea where the chat went. Okay, nobody's raising their hand. I think we're good. Okay. All right. Building a brand identity. Who knows exactly what a brand identity is? I didn't put it up there in definition for a reason. So anybody knows what a brand identity is? Kiana, I'm going to call on you because you definitely should know what a brand identity is.
Okay, so in my perspective and just working with you, brand identity is basically like what your brand is and the foundation of the brand. Like it should tell it what it is by looking at it.
Perfect. Absolutely. So as you can see, I put my own definition here. Just like you are what you eat, you are who you post. So write that down. I want you guys to write that down really, 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 really big. Just like you are what you eat, you are whom you post. And I never want you to forget that, ever. So personal branding then is the process of managing and optimizing the way that you are presented to others. Okay. So perception. When we talk about perception, we just went through that exercise. I want to know how you guys perceive me based off of just looking at my Instagram. So it's good to know that you perceive me that way prior to even, let's say you didn't hear the bio, you would probably have that same analyzation and recommendation for me, right? But that's what you want. When your name is brought in a room before someone has seen you, that's the type of offline conversation we want to have. When Jamie read my bio, it's probably like, oh my God, this sounds like she sounds amazing. Harvard, George Washington, company, you probably get excited, right? I have to go figure out who this person is. Now you go to my Instagram, just imagine if my Instagram didn't reflect that type of person. The whole brain is tarnished at this point. Anything that Jamie said, Jamie could have literally said, no, like she's won awards and this, that, and the third, and just put me on the highest pedestal ever. But if that social media, website, verbal communication, written communication did not align with what Jamie said, not only is Jamie not credible, I'm definitely not credible at this point. So it's a ripple effect, right? If your brand is not matching what people are perceiving, or if it is what they're perceiving, your credibility is tarnished. And then the person who is referring you, credibility is tarnished. Your client's credibility is tarnished. Okay? So in posting things via social media, you leave the world to interpret what they want. Perception is reality, and you are in charge of creating your own. So think about what you want your reality to be. Let's talk about uniqueness. When we talk about uniqueness, we talk about standing out. We can talk about oversaturated industries all day, but I always say, what is an oversaturated industry really? It's just a bunch of people working in corporate America on entry level, trying to stand out just to be a big fish in the pond at the end of the day. So when you talk about uniqueness, we want to identify 3 points. 1, how am I being the solutions to the problem in a unique way? 2, what is that one thing about me that people are always going to remember? The one thing people remember about me is my name, because they had something to tie it to, right? Milan, Italy. Shout out to my mom, because I guess that was a great thing that she did. But I wish they would remember something else. But they always say, oh yeah, it's Milan, right? Not Mulan. Exactly. But it's a great thing because people will never forget the name. And they know that I'm a publicist. 3rd, most important one. If I were not in the room, what would people say? And we call that your unique selling proposition, because those are all sales points about you. 3 things to craft your uniqueness. Then, of course, we have imposter syndrome. When building a personal brand, you want to avoid the imposter syndrome. It is very easy to see others being successful and you start mocking their actions, assuming that you'll get the same in return. Now, a lot of people say, well, I didn't mean to mock that person. And it's not that you mean to, but when we get so engulfed in social media and we start identifying and looking at things that we want and who we want to be, and you see someone that matches that, you're like, no, this has to be it. I have to follow this person. I have to keep looking at this person. The next thing you know, their post notifications are turned on. Then right after that, you're on every live that they have. After that, you're on their mailing list. And next thing you know, you're dressing like them and your hair is exactly like theirs. So now we don't know who you are. And that goes back to not knowing who you are. So imposter syndrome is something that you want to avoid when building your personal brand and optimizing and being presented to others. So the best thing that I can say is, yes, it is great to watch other people and to feel inspired, but you have to be cautious of imposter syndrome. And I tell you, we all go through it. You're going to have it for like a split second, and that's okay. But don't get engulfed. Don't get to the point where people can actually call it out and identify it. I've had that happen literally about 5 times. And people talk about it because it's actually confusing as to why this has happened, but it happens. And I don't want you all to end up in that place. Okay. Let's see. I see the chat. Let me check it really quickly. Yikes, that's me. It's definitely tough not to do that. Yeah, it definitely is. Especially being an entrepreneur. is definitely tough, because you see so many people that may be making 6-7 figures in the same field that you're in, and you're like, how is this not happening for me? Why is this not happening for me? What am I doing wrong? Well, maybe if I do what she did, maybe I'll see those results. Maybe if I do what he's doing, I'll see. And that's not the case, because at the end of the day, you're speaking to two different audiences probably. Before we jump into this, I'll actually share a quick example of that. There's a young lady, she's really big in marketing, phenomenal. And I was like, at one point, I was like, what am I doing? Like, she literally, I think, made almost $600,000 off of selling a planner in 59 minutes. And I'm just like, I had to really sit there and think about it. But then I also thought about her every day. Every day she's on social media from 7 a.m. to almost midnight when I'm going to sleep. She's on Instagram Live. She's having to create different products, different campaigns, like constantly back to back to back to keep her followers engaged. Then I sat there and thought for myself, well, my 6 and 7 figure clients, they're not paying attention to that. They're trying to run their companies. They need to contract somebody to come in and do this part of it. They want somebody that's constantly pitching and researching for them. Her clients are looking for quick sales, quick fixes, right? But that's why we have to understand our competitors. We have to understand our industry, because when you start pulling apart your ideal customer, your competitors in your industry, then the imposter syndrome can decrease. Because then you'll realize, I'm not the person that's going to get on Instagram every day. I'm not the person that's going to apply to 1,000 jobs just to try to land one, right? That's not the person that you are. But it may work for them, but it's not going to work for you. Okay. So I just want to share that so that you know that you're not alone. Being in business 6 years, I still have those moments. Because of course, I'm not a 7-figure earner yet in the public relations space, you know? So of course it happens. Let's see. I see the chat again. It's okay to be inspired by others, but knowing yourself and staying true to your purpose is important. Yes, ma'am, it is. Awesome. Okay, so where's to start with your personal brand? So once we get past that and it's time to actually sit down and build this thing out, we talked about finding your uniqueness. So like we said, don't think of what everyone else is doing or what is going to make you money quick. You have to think about what you're really good at and the way you can impact. Then we're going to move on to seek your audience and build a reputation for what you want to be known for. So once you found your audience, great, we have them. Now you have to keep them, right? We got them. Now we got to keep them. So now you have to continuously think of content. And when I say content, that means conversations. That means lovely pictures, if you will. That means always crafting your resume to fit for that job or to fit for that next scale, because guarantee, Jamie, where you're going to start in corporate is not where you're going to end up. So that means always applying to different trainings and virtual conferences and really engaging content-wise, right? Because you're in public relations, they're always going to be looking for content. You're always going to have to think of a campaign. You're always going to have to think of a new strategy, right? So you're always going to be looking for that next level. Next, being consistent and always showing up. I can't stress that enough. I think I tell Keon this all the time. Like, we have to show up. We're in the middle of planning a big weekend for the entrepreneurs brunch, but I'm like, we can't put tickets on sale yet because we have to show up. We have to re-engage our audience. We have to be there. We can't be forgotten. And that's what happened with the entrepreneurs brunch. When the pandemic happened, I felt like we couldn't do it because we had been in that space where we had events. Now we're online, we're virtual. This is a brunch. How do you do a brunch virtually? What do you do? So we stopped posting. Now, when we posted, we had 6 likes, when normally we have over 100 likes, or we have over 100 plus shares or saves in our Instagram. But now nobody's looking at us because we were forgotten, because we didn't show up. We weren't consistent. Jamie, at your job, if you're not speaking in corporate America, if you're not being present in those meetings with your boss, you're going to be forgotten. When they're looking for somebody to spearhead that campaign, but Jamie stopped speaking up, or Jamie stopped producing and didn't show up, you're going to be forgotten. So you won't make it to that C-suite executive. You won't make it to the top of Edelman or Peppercom. So you got to show up. So that's where we start. We start by doing things that people do later. You show up from day one. You understand and are producing content constantly to your audience day one. You find your uniqueness right now. What happens when the personal branding is strong? Favorite part, you get rewarding partnerships, leadership opportunities, Jamie, greater credibility, consistent ideal clients, and you're viewed as a thought leader in the industry. I will never forget the first time someone high up in the industry was like, I was on a panel, not on a panel, technically I was on another panel, but their panel, they were missioning people. And they were like, yeah, you know, I love a lot of thought leaders, Milan Mobley, such and such. And I was like, me? You're talking about me? You know, but it felt so good to be considered that. But that came back from what? Showing up. So this is what happens when the personal branding is strong. And this is what you want to happen. Next, 5 essential resources to a strong brand. Take advantage of the tools available. Invest in great photos. It makes for great content. I'm going to give you guys a secret, okay? And I only tell the secret to a few people. The biggest secret that I have, because people say, you have so many photos. Like, how do you, where does that come from? One, when I do photo shoots, I have about 5 outfits. And I change my location. And I just take all those pictures. And then the editor or photographer, he's like, okay, well, I can give you 30 or I can give you 5 edits. And I'm like, great. Can I just have all the photos? How many did you take? He's like, oh, I took around 150 of the raw. Can I have all the raw photos? Let me have all of them. Because what you can do is you can go into the app store and download Facetune and purchase it for $1 and edit your own photos. I haven't had a photo shoot since 2019. I used to have one every season just because, you know, that was just something I wanted to do. And another trick of the trade is, it may be the summertime. I don't care how hot you are. Go outside and put that turtleneck on, stand there for 5 minutes and take that photo, because now you have winter photos that you took in the summer. So you're not over utilizing your budget. 3, the way the iPhone works now, all you need is a ring light and a nice backdrop. Those pictures that you guys just saw on my Instagram with this backdrop, they were taken from the iPhone with 2 ring lights, the big one and the little one. One was right here and one was right there. And I use those photos everywhere at this point. And I have plenty of them. I think we took about like 50 or 60. Okay. So that's the first thing. Invest in great photos. I didn't tell you how to invest. I just told you to invest in them, but I just gave you the tools on how to. 2, automate posting. It'll allow you so much free time to focus on connecting. So again, look so hard into connecting. We look so hard into pushing our personal brands via social media, but all you have to do is automate your posts. I say Sundays are for content. Sundays are also self-care days. So while you're self-caring, drinking your water, staying hydrated, studying, whatever the case is, jump onto Planoly, Later, or Hootsuite and go ahead and upload that content. Let it run for the week. This allows you time to research. It allows you time to pitch. It allows you to spearhead campaigns or whatever aspect of the public relations industry you're in. But guess what's happening with your personal brand? It's staying consistent. All you have to do is just go back in and tap in at times and see when people are commenting on your post or tweeting you back or saying something on LinkedIn, and just connect, because the posting was already done. You already planned for the week. You already got it uploaded. You're good to go. So you don't have to worry about the online part. You just have to focus on the offline. Checking the chat. I just saw something pop up on Instagram. Should I make a separate page for work on Instagram? We're going to talk about that, Abby. I'll get into that. But that's a great question. Strong mailing list. By a show of hands, how many of you know what a mailing list is? Okay, everybody's hand should go up because we all are on mailing lists. You know how like when you go in a store and they say, and what's your email? And then all of a sudden you're getting all these emails from them. That's the mailing list. You're now in a funnel. So you have a strong mailing list. The thing about a strong mailing list is when Instagram decides it does that thing where it shuts down, or like your feed just doesn't refresh for hours at a time, or Twitter just shuts down, or whatever platform, your mailing list is still strong. You're still able to communicate with your audience. You're still able to communicate with your partners, whomever. You're still able to profit. So you want a strong mailing list. And literally that costs nothing until you get to almost like, 10,000 people on your mailing list. So until you get to that point, you're free. It's a resource that's available. I use MailerLite, but you have ConvertKit, you have MailChimp. What else do you have? You have Wix.com, where my website is hosted through. They also have automated emailing. So you have all of those things to utilize. But you want to use that because it's keeping your brand strong. A lot of people have messed up because they only think that social media is the way to have a brand. We have to think about in the 50s and 40s when social media didn't exist, and brands like Coca-Cola, McDonald's, what else was out then? I don't know, all the brands that were out at that time, how they were thriving from billboards and just grassroots communications. So you want to kind of take it back down some and always have that. That's what's going to also make your brand the strongest, your ability to communicate offline from the digital era, because you're going to run into a lot of people that may or may not be on social media or don't care for it or really don't care that you're there. So you have to know how to have that ripple effect also off of there. Next, being personal and connecting to your audience. You can't have a personal brand and not be personable, right? People love personable. I will literally get on Instagram Live in my robe and my scarf and talk to everyone. Now, there's a difference, because if I was on Instagram Live in my robe and my scarf and I had loud music playing and things like that, then it's like, okay, this is not professional. But I get on there and I have my nice Zen tea and I'm sitting there talking. They're like, hey guys, this is what I'm doing today. I'm currently in work mode, so excuse the appearance. And we have conversations and people ask questions, they engage, but that's the personable. They have to see that you're human. You have to humanize your brand. You don't want a robotic brand. People have to have something to trust. And I don't think any of us trust robots, because anytime that I mention the smallest thing that I don't want Alexa really hearing, I could literally say, what is President Biden talking about today? And she'll be like, ding. And I'm like, wow, I didn't say anything bad. But clearly, robots are very much active, right? So we can't trust them because we never know what's happening. So people want to see a humanized brand, to say the least. And lastly, always be ahead of the game. I think we know that in public relations, you have to be ahead of the game. Like I said, when Kiana asked me to be a part of this, I was like, what do we have in February? Because normally February is already done. February is finished in November. That's how ahead you have to be. If you wait till the last minute in public relations or your personal brand to be ahead of the game, you're always going to be behind. How many of you watch Insecure or know Insecure, the show? With Issa Rae. If you don't, that's completely fine. So on Insecure, it was a scene on there, and she hired, she didn't hire, someone pitched to an outlet, and the outlet came and she interviewed her for her festival. And she said, yeah, where can I find this? And the outlet said, on my YouTube channel. And she was like, oh, okay. Oh, so what is that? Oh, it hasn't started yet. So I took that piece of information, I posted on Instagram, and I talked about having credible media and how to find credible media. It could have just been left on the show, but I said, wow, this is actually a great opportunity to talk about media. Now, if the media is new, what do? Do you leave the media and say, well, we don't want that? Or do you give them their first shot and always be in their grace? How does that affect my personal brand? It shows I'm a thought leader and that I'm knowledgeable and that I can start these conversations. And journalists were commenting, publicists were commenting, but I was ahead of the game. And a lot of people were like, why didn't I think of that? Why didn't we post this first? You gotta be ahead. Next, activity time. Are you guys ready? Fun. So everybody come off mute. It's time to talk. All right. So can everybody see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, perfectly. So I want you to look closely, and I want you to tell me the characteristics, very similar to our icebreaker, that come to mind when you see this.
Okay. For the first picture, looks like a guy just getting off from work. The picture at the below, they look like a couple. Up, the two at the top look like models. The one with the blue hair, I feel like she's doing probably like something for either I don't know if it's her hair or her sunglasses or her lips, but something in those areas, I feel like she might be doing a photo shoot for an actual brand. And the last picture, I feel like they could be possibly in the middle of either some type of, I guess, bank or buying something maybe and not agreeing with the contract. And at the top, the lady looked like she just enjoying a nice day out, drinking some wine, maybe with some friends or something.
So now give me the characteristics of it that you analyzed it. So you guys said I was balanced, I was confident. So what do you see here?
Somebody else can answer.
I'm looking at some of them. And I guess like the characteristics of the first guy on the left, he seems confident, relaxed, like he just got off work and he's ready to just, chill and like eat food and relax and have a nice rest of the night. And then like the model in the black, the black top dress bodysuit thing, she looks like she's like in a photo shoot for like some cool clothing brand or something, and she looks like very like sexy and confident and like cool. The couple below her looks like they I'm not gonna say that in a PR class, but they look like they're just very passionate and don't mind showing that everywhere. I get that vibe from them. And the lady at the top, the model, looks just like really like she's at a spa, like relaxed and just serene and calm. And I feel like this is something they would like post for like a spa Instagram or something like that. I don't know. And then the lady below her is edgy, modern, different in a good way, like she is just herself. And then the lady at the winery is approachable, friendly, and looks like she'd be fun to have a drink with. She would. And then below her, the co-workers or couple, they kind of look like they're in the middle of marriage counseling.
I thought that too, Abby.
Yeah, they look stressed out, and it's kind of a confusing picture because I don't know if they're getting yelled at by their boss or if they're getting told that they need a divorce. So I don't know, but I guess that last one is kind of confusing.
Okay, perfect.
Also, for the guy for the first picture, I don't know, for some reason, he looks like he could possibly be tense. Like, he's smiling, but it looks deeper. Like, he got other stuff going on. Like, I feel like the way he dressed isn't really that job he worked. I don't know. That's just, what I got.
Okay, it's perspective. Wow. Okay, next example.
Oh my gosh. These are
Is it
funny.
the same couple?
Oh no.
The passionate couple at the bottom, middle? I think it is. I would say just like intimate, quiet, close, because they're like not even talking, they're just like thinking. And then, it is the same couple over here too.
It's the
They
same.
look angry now instead of confused. They looked like confused
But
before. Now they look like they're the ones doing the yelling.
And they look united. It's so it doesn't look like, it looks like they're both united on an issue that they're mad about. Yeah.
They got
And this
turned
guy
down
over
for a
here.
mortgage.
That could be it.
That's what it is.
Or something with a house or something, or some type of contract that they don't agree with.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was getting like angry parent-teacher conference.
When Karen lets
Oh, yes, Dorothy. That's hilarious.
She's a Karen. He's a Karen. They're all Karen.
Okay, perfect. So you guys did great. Now we're gonna break this down, right? Because we all said this is perspective. It's all in perception. So you see the gentleman over here in the left-hand corner. So I showed it to my friends and I said, well, what do you think about him? They were like, oh, he's ratchet. He's this, he's that, he's that. I said, well, how do we know that he didn't just get finished working on his car and he got into it and his shirt is off because it's a hot summer day, right? Or he's somewhere hot. Then I said, well, we said that this guy has a 9 to 5 because he has a suit. I mean, he doesn't have a suit on, he has a tie on, right?
Mm-hmm.
But why couldn't it be vice versa? Why couldn't this guy be sneaky and have something going on, and then this one actually why couldn't he be a C-suite executive? But it was perception. The young lady in the corner over here with the blue hair, they said, she's giving very like bad girl, like she's gonna sneak out the house, things like that. But this young lady with the blue hair, she had to be a model and posing for something. But how do we know that this young lady just didn't have a bad hair day? How many times have you as a kid went to school looking one way and there was picture time, and then the way that your mom sent you, the pictures didn't come back looking like that because something happened? That could have been her happening, right? So we look at this. You look at the people down in the corner. They're partying, it's drinks. It's like, oh, they like to turn up. This is a lot. You see the lady in the corner. We said she was approachable at a winery. But you see the perspective. We perceived it based off of the image and the way we saw that the way they look. These people could be completely different if Jamie tells us about them and reads their pictures to us.
They went to Harvard, so I mean, completely different. Once we found that out.
Exactly.
But these people could be different. So I say all that to say, when we are appearing, whether it's in person or on social media or at the job interview, it has to reflect on paper. It has to reflect online. It has to be aligned straight across the board. It's called brand alignment. We talk about that in business, and we talk about that in our personal brands. The brand has to align from point A to point Z. Okay? I hope you guys like that exercise because I worked really hard on it.
I loved it. I thought it was really fun.
Awesome. Okay. Personal brand strategy marketing. Become a source of relevant information. I know you've heard me say this throughout our entire conversation. So as an expert, you want to put yourself in a position to be viewed as a trusted thought leader, which will attract people to you. The more you position yourself as a thought leader and that you know exactly what you're doing in this industry, people are going to gravitate towards you naturally. Okay, I see it, Amanda. Perfect. Be visible and in play. Attend networking events to become active in your profession and community. Interact with your followers. It serves a variety of purposes, making TikToks, webinars, Instagram lives. If you check my Instagram out today, you'll see that I made a couple of TikToks. I normally don't make TikToks, but I said, hey, let's interact with the followers in a new way. So those are a couple of strategies to help you market your brand. And then, of course, build your brand on social media. Fully update your social media accounts. Decide what platform works for you. Not every platform is going to be for you because your audience may or may not be there. You want to have a strong bio about who you are and what you do. You want to create and curate engaging content. So the 3 things that you want to make sure is 1, engaging, is 2, impactful, and it's thought-provoking content. I'm going to keep saying that because someone's going to forget it, and I don't want you to forget to always have thought-provoking content. Next, keep your brand voice, image, and tone consistent. Hire Instagram, Twitter, Clubhouse, LinkedIn. So we have Big O and all those amazing platforms. However, your voice and your tone is, it should be consistent to your website. You want your website to match your marketing across the board, from colors to verbiage to energy to personality. It all has to align. And then next, you want to share content on a regular basis. So posting around 3 to 4 times per week. I tell my clients 3 to 4 times per day, but starting out 3 to 4 times per week is a great start until you continue to build that content. And then post an impact and have a purpose. And that is the end of our presentation.
Yay, thank you so much. That was really, really fun, and I like how engaging it was.
Me too.
Yeah, before we wrap up, I just wanted to make sure to see if anyone had any questions they wanted to ask, or anything they wanted to ask Milan before we wrap up our meeting. I feel like we got a lot of our questions and comments done throughout, but if anyone has anything else, go ahead and just ask it now.
Yes, Abby.
Go ahead, Abby.
I had a question about on the social media thing. Should we take down pictures on our Instagram, or should we make a different Instagram for like work and stuff like that?
You definitely want two separate things. Well, are you thinking about starting your own agency, Abby?
I honestly don't know yet. I definitely need to figure that out for sure.
Okay. Well, if you are
Really
thinking about starting your own agency, like I said, I have two separate Instagram pages. But if you are keeping it together, and like Jamie said, she wants to go into corporate, you just want to tailor it, right? You want to keep it clean. So when I showed you guys the perception picture where we said the young lady was at the winery, it's okay if you're going to go out with your girlfriends on happy hour and you have a picture of drinks, but make sure it's clean. You don't want 10 shots on the table, 3 martini glasses. You want to make it look like it's a casual outing with your girls. No one is saying that you have to shut down your life, because companies know that you have a life, but you don't want anything to negatively reflect what you do. Or if they say, okay, this happens and someone sees you out and they're like, oh, aren't you the one that works for Edelman? And now the intern or new publicist or public relations manager at Edelman is out with 10 shots on the table and a party girl. So you never want to be a crisis management situation as a publicist, to say the least.
That makes sense. Thank you so much.
Dorothy, I think you had a question.
Yeah, so I was just wondering, as an entrepreneur, what's your greatest advice for young people who are interested in kind of starting that entrepreneurship journey earlier than most, before getting several years of experience like you had?
Absolutely. Definitely get a mentor and get internships. Like, that's your biggest asset to gaining that experience, because in this industry it's so hands-on, which is going to bring me to one thing that I do want to mention to you guys before we wrap up. I have a cohort. It's called the Becoming a Publicist cohort. It starts on March 1st. I have closed it, but if you ladies and Henry are interested in applying, please let me know, and I'll drop the link actually right here really quickly. So you can check it out to apply. But basically, it's a 6-week cohort, and you're learning from some of the top public relations professionals in the industry. You'll go through different modules, quizzes. Every Friday, you have a live lecture from that particular professor. You also have a portfolio that you're building based off the information you're learning. So we're going to tell you to pick a mock client and apply everything that you learned to that. You're going to also be placed in our Facebook community amongst the BAP alums. This is our 3rd session, and previous publicists and the students, so you can stay connected with them as well. And then after it's all over, if you've completed the program at 88% rate, you'll be put into the internship pool. So then, of course, the publicists or professors, moreover, will be able to select and look at those students who they feel like perform the best and will match best with their agency and offer you an internship position with them. And then, of course, it could turn into something bigger.
Thank you.
So that's intern and mentor.
That sounds really cool. Before we wrap up tonight, I just wanted to take a group picture like we usually do. So if everyone wants to get ready for that, I think Dr. Wee will take that screenshot for us.
All right, hold that. I'm going to grab one more. Okay, I got the air and the spare on that one.
Okay, awesome. Thank you. So I just wanted to thank Milan Mobley for being here tonight. Thank you so much for your amazing presentation. I really think we all learned a lot about personal branding, and it was great to have you.
Thank you guys for having me. I will come back anytime you want me. Just let me know. But I'm always here for you guys. If you're following me on Instagram, definitely stay connected. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out to me, okay?
Thank you.
Thanks so much, Milan.
So much.
Thank you.